Welcome to the Chat with Chou podcast, hosted by Chou Allegra, well-being and belonging consultant, best-selling author, and sought-after speaker. Join Chou as she connects with both new and familiar faces, showcasing their inspiring work and businesses. Together, we will explore insightful conversations, practical tips, and valuable resources aimed at fostering individual and collective growth both personally and professionally. Let's embark on this journey towards greater well-being and belonging together. Hi, hello, everyone. Welcome back for another episode of Chat with Chou podcast. And this month, I'm inviting friends who identifies people with disability in honor of Disability Pride Month. And so I have another friend with me here, Martina. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here. So we'll dive right in. If you don't mind sharing a little bit about yourself, know who you are, what you do.
Well, what I do is I've coached women who have had trauma,
Mm,
and I coach professional women to help them become more of who they are and what they can be, because trauma tends to block being what you can be,
mhm,
because you have various things that you're afraid of or just don't want to be involved in because
mhm.
it's too hard.
Yeah.
And I got into that because of my own traumas and my own trauma healing journey.
Mhm,
And I also have bipolar disorder, and so that complicated the trauma healing journey.
mhm, mhm.
But you do with what you have and you move on. And so that's what I did.
Yeah, yeah. Well, thank you for sharing that. And I often say my own journey. I think I was about almost 10 years ago when I was starting my business. I actually people ask me, why are you doing what you do? I say, well, I'm turning my stumbling blocks into stepping stones, right?
There
And
you
then I
go.
had this quote that says, when we turn our stumbling blocks into stepping stones, we find joy in the journey. So like you, I have a lot also going on, and it could be so easy to say, well, I have all these other things I need to take care of, which is true. We take care of ourselves so we can, enjoy our life. But then you realize you learn so much on that journey, right? And you can't
Right.
keep that to yourself, yeah, because there's so many other people out there who are struggling with the same challenges and need that support. So thank
Mhm.
you. Thank you for turning your stumbling block, right? Maybe if we can call it that into, stepping stone, and now you're able to support others along that, on the journeys that they're on. So that's really good. Yeah. And
It's
so
about giving back what
yes,
was given to me on my journey.
yes, beautiful, beautiful. And like, when was that shift for you? Like, when did you kind of decide, oh, okay, now I'm going to turn this into it, I'm ready to give back, right? As you said, or, how you kind of get started turning this into a business.
Well, as I healed, I came to a point where I was ready to I was actually on disability because it
Mhm.
was had gotten so bad
Yeah,
that I basically couldn't function.
yeah, yeah.
And as I healed and got better, I thought it's time to go back to work. And so I started looking at my resume and realized that I had some gaps in my resume and needed to figure out a way to do that. So I looked for somebody to write my resume. I ran across a woman who said, what about being a career coach? And I leapt at that and I trained and did that. And what I discovered was that the coaching that I love to do, the part of the coaching that I love to do wasn't the resumes. I'm good at them, but I hate them. It was, it
I
was,
can do it, but I don't enjoy it. I
yeah,
can relate this. Yeah.
it was about what do they want out of life? What do they want out of their careers? And who are they? And I realized that so many of the women and men that I worked with had trauma in their backgrounds. And so I transitioned to being a life coach and said, okay, I want to heal women in particular, one at a time, to be all that they can be, to heal their traumas and to be able to thrive instead of just survive.
Oh, yes, I mean, those words definitely resonate with me. It's so easy, especially with a mental health diagnosis, speaking for myself here, to feel like you're just surviving, right? It's like, okay,
Yeah.
yes, I'm just gonna one more day, one more second at a time. And I totally hear you. I totally understand that, again, been there, done that. But then you hit a point where you're like, okay, I'm here, but am I actually enjoying life, right? There has
Yeah.
to be more to life than just surviving. Then you realize, oh yeah, I can thrive, or I want to thrive. At least maybe it starts there. I want to thrive, and then finding ways to thrive. So it's a great thing that you're giving others, the opportunity to explore that, because often it's not given to people who are struggling with one condition or another. People all kind of, even the systems of care gets us wrapped up in this, survival mode. We
Yeah.
become so wrapped up in the condition that become our only identity, right? And
Yeah, it becomes the diagnosis becomes who you are. And a lot of people with bipolar say, I am bipolar. I refuse to say I am bipolar. I'm not bipolar. I have bipolar. I have PTSD. I'm not PTSD. And the difference that that makes is that that puts it in a perspective. That's part of my picture, but that's not who I am.
exactly, yeah.
And with that in my picture, it means I have to make certain accommodations for my life, but it
Mhm.
doesn't mean I don't live my life.
Yeah, right, right. Yeah. Oh, and I could talk to you all day long, because those are the same thing again that resonate with me so much, and many of the reasons why I even started with with the work that I do. So yeah, thanks for sharing that. So even as you got started, obviously, like many things in life are not, it's not always roses, right? Things are not always easy. Just being a human being, living itself, it's hard. So then when you add the complexity of, managing, your own health, right? Mental, emotional, all of that, physical, and maintaining a business, and the challenges that come there. So what are maybe some challenges that you had faced, and what keeps you going in spite of those challenges?
Well, the challenge for me was learning how to promote myself. How 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 do I put myself out there, be honest about who I am, and yet not scare people away because I have
Mhm,
these labels. And also, I didn't know anything about running a business, And so I've been through a couple business coaches. I've worked with a couple
mhm,
different business coaches and learned how to put that together in a way that makes sense so that I can recruit the women and be there and present myself to the women who need me
mhm,
so that I can help them heal and as a side effect make money doing it.
mhm.
But how do I put out what I have to give? Because that's really what it's about for me. It's about what I
Yes,
have to
yes,
give.
yes.
Making money is nice, but that's not the whole picture. It's about being there for others and helping them heal. And but I had to figure out how to do that, and I had no clue. I had no clue. And I still stumble with that. It's still something I have to work on every day, every day, every day.
Yeah, but that's a great point, though. I think for everything we do, entrepreneurship, among those things, it's that it's a journey. Often people
Yeah,
think, oh, I have to, as I start, I have to arrive. And it's not true. You start somewhere. And I'm sure, as you say, like every day you're still working on this and building this business. Because as you grow, your business will grow, right? And it's not just when like you growing, it's growth, it's not just monetary. We're not just talking about money here. It's even how your own vision changes, right? Your
yes,
mindset changes, and so you have to tweak some things within your business. So I'm glad, also you brought up about getting a couple of business coaches to help you along the journey, because nobody can be their greatest self without support. We all need support one way
exactly.
or another.
Exactly. And if I'm not growing, I'm not helping my clients grow.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah,
I
I'm
have
with
to I
you.
have to keep working on my journey as much as I help others work on their journeys.
Yes, yes, yeah. And presenting yourself in this entrepreneurial, space, it's challenging, because there's, especially when we have so many other things going on in the background, right? It's like,
Right.
okay, who am I to do this? And then imposter syndrome comes in, and then,
Oh yeah.
all this doubt about, about whether or not we're worthy of doing this. But then the people who truly need this need people who are real, right? People who've been there, done that, done there. They're not just speaking from head knowledge, but it's speaking from heart knowledge, because they also felt that. Yes, education is great, getting degrees and all of that, being trained is great,
but it's even more powerful when people are just now throwing the book at you, if that makes sense, right? Everything they could have, learned and read per se, but when it's sprinkled with, like I call it, it's like the extra seasoning, right? That makes it nice and spicy and gives it good flavor. Like that lived experience is so, so, so impactful. We can never, never underestimate that.
Right.
So and I've been even the entrepreneur space itself. I've said this many times. I want a coach who has a coach. Right. And
Mm.
even when, I needed a therapist, a counselor, I want to make sure that, like you said, those people are growing also, and they're not just support me in creating that kind of hierarchy. If you want to be, them versus me being the person who needs support, and then they being the expert,
Yeah,
and that's
I'm
a
not
very,
an expert. I just am one. I I trained in religious education,
Mhm.
and I had a professor who used to say that a youth minister is the wise companion on the journey.
There you go.
And that's the way I view my coaching. I'm the wise
Same
companion
here.
on the journey. I'm walking beside you. I may be one step ahead of you in terms of what I've been through, but I'm
Mhm.
not the expert. I'm
There you
You
go.
have to heal yourself, but I can guide you.
There you go. And that's the point I was making, right? Those of us with lived experiences understand that. Someone who will only study trauma and trying to help other recover from trauma, it's not bad, but sometimes that's when the hierarchy is like, oh, they know so much, I don't know anything. But the person sitting on the other, the client, the patient, whoever, however they're called in different areas, it's actually the expert on themselves. To think
Mhm.
about it, I joke sometimes. I say, well, I often say this, that even the medical doctor might know that you need either Tylenol or ibuprofen for pain, right? That they can help. You must say, well, I have this headache. It's comes and goes. It's like, oh yeah, maybe try Tylenol or ibuprofen. But only you or people close to you will know if whether Tylenol or ibuprofen works best for your body.
Right.
You see what I mean? So then you become you like that's the example. So that you are the expert on what you need. You are the expert on what support, what's best for you. So it's good, like you said, like those are the people coming to support you. So meaning like for you coming to support others, having that mindset like, hey, I'm gonna walk with you on this journey because I'm not making the decisions for you. I am not telling you what to do. I'm here sharing you the tools and strategies that help, and then letting people make their own decision. And that's very empowering. So all I'm saying is like I love your motto because that's the same motto that I use.
Yeah.
All what I'm trying to get at there. So thank you for sharing that. And then the day-to-day basis, how do you balance it all? Because it's life, it gets busy. Take care of ourselves, take care of our businesses, and maintaining family and friend relationship and all of that. Like how do you balance life as an entrepreneur?
Well, I set up a schedule of this is when I'm working and this is when I'm not.
Yeah.
And when the timer goes off, I don't set a timer. Well, sometimes I do actually, but
Mhm.
when the timer goes off, then it's time to say, okay, I'm going to wrap up right here what I'm doing, and then I'm going to go do whatever else I've planned to do. I don't I take self-care very seriously because if I'm not taking care of me, if I'm not doing the things to take care of me and to do what I need to do for me, then I'm no good to anybody else because I just burn out and
Mhm.
I'm not good to anybody if I'm burned out. So I take self-care and I have routines that I do every day. I have a morning routine, I have an evening routine that help keep me centered
Mhm.
and help me go through my day in a flow rather than
Yeah. Yeah.
and I have a calendar and I block off this is my work time, this is my that time. Excuse me. I'm writing. This is my time for writing. This is my
Yeah.
time for watching TV if that's what I want to do, or
Mhm.
reading a novel as opposed to reading something for my business. Because I
Yeah.
read a lot, I do a lot of education on personal growth and
Mhm.
things
Mhm.
about trauma and
Yeah.
all of those things. But I also love to read just for fun. And so
Mhm.
this is my free time. This is what I can do whatever I want during this time
Mhm.
because if I don't take that time for me, then I'm not taking time for anybody and I'm not taking time to do what I can do at the best of my ability.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, beautifully said. And it's sometimes we talk about boundaries as things that we set for others, to
Mhm.
keep ourselves well, but we don't realize the boundary starts with us, right? So like when you're saying I block my time and then I put an alarm if I have to know when I need to get off my computer and go do something else. Those are boundaries that you're setting for yourself to
Yes, they are.
maintain that self-care, to pursue that self-care because you realize how important that is for you. So yes, definitely the balance requires us to be intentional, but also requires us to be honest with ourselves and see what boundaries we need, not just what boundaries we need to set with others, but what boundaries we need to
Right.
set for ourselves. So yeah, I like that you have a structure that works for you so that you can be intentional about that self-care. Yeah, we can't keep pouring into others and not pouring into ourselves because then we just run
Exactly.
ourselves to the ground and that's not healthy for anybody. That's
Yeah,
not healthy.
it doesn't help anybody if I'm a mess.
And we all, and doing good work in itself is draining. Right?
Yes, it
People think, well, because
is.
I'm doing this job, no, I'm helping others, I'm giving back, and that it's great work. I shouldn't be burned out. It's actually the opposite. When you're dealing with people, these are not just paper that copy or typing. Not to take that, those jobs can also busy and can be stressful, and it's with deadlines and all of that. I get that, but when you're dealing with people's lives, it's emotionally draining. So it might
It
just be
is
one
emotionally draining.
session.
It can be emotionally draining. I'm pretty good at keeping a separation between me and my clients.
Yes, yes,
But there
yes,
are times when a client will say something and it just is like, oh my gosh.
yes. I need a deep breath myself,
And I
right?
have
Yeah,
to kind of readjust my thinking in the moment. And
yeah.
then after I get off the call, I have to really pay attention to what am I feeling right now
There
and
you
take
go.
care of myself.
Right.
And if I don't have that time that I lay out for myself to do that kind of thing, then
Mhm.
it just compounds and it builds
Right.
and I just get I become an emotional mess and I've been there, done that. I don't need to do that again.
Like, yeah, no, I hear you. And that's all part of self-care, right? And sometimes people
Yeah.
think self-care is all, it's getting our nails done, getting the massage. Those are nice. But the internal self-care that we do to take care of our emotions or mind or thoughts, that's the real self-care that yield, long-lasting benefits. So yeah, so that's a great example of self-care right there, in the moment during the session, even afterwards, So thanks for sharing that as well.
Thank you. You're frozen again.
So you support others, you pour into others all the time. How can we support you?
I'm sorry. Try that again.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, so I was saying you support others, you're constantly pouring into others. How can we support you?
Um, just be there if you have people that you think need my help, tell them about me.
Yes. Yeah.
But just knowing that there's a community of people who are dealing with similar issues is a lot of
Mhm.
support. And doing this process of writing this book was I built a new community of support because we all share similar issues.
Mhm, mhm.
And so it's about knowing what resources are out there. And if you know somebody who needs me as a resource, refer them
Yeah.
and let me help them.
Yes, and this is why one of the main reasons I do these conversations, I have these conversations with friends, old and new friends, because I want the world to know that there are great people out here doing great work to make a difference, to make an impact, and the world needs to know about what you're doing. So this is why we have these conversations. Then for others listening, then you do your part. So I'm sharing the people that I know to support others out there, and we sharing is caring, so we encourage you to be sharing as well. So just like she said, if someone needs our support, please, 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 refer them to her. So with that being said, where can people find you? Your website, on social media, and we'll also share
I'm
that in
I'm on
the notes.
LinkedIn
Okay.
and I'm on Facebook, and both of them I use my full name, Martina J. Sierra.
Okay, thank you so much, and we will
So if you
we'll
look
make
up Martina J. Sierra on either of them, you should find me.
Beautiful, beautiful. So yeah, so we will share that in the notes as well, so people can click on just on there and go to your page. But thank you again, Martina. Thank you for what you do. Thank you for the impact that you make in so many lives. And for everyone listening, it's your chance to again share this resource, share her as a resource to others, but also go out there and be great. Until
Thank
next
you.
time.
Thank you for tuning in to the Chat with Chou podcast. We hope today's episode inspired and informed you on your journey towards growth. Be sure to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Follow Chou Allegra on social media to stay updated on upcoming episodes and more resources. Until next time, take care and keep striving for well-being and belonging in all areas of your life.